Morning and welcome to Story Time. Thank you so much for joining us again today on this lovely Wednesday morning. And we have Over and Under the Rainforest. And of course it's brought to you by the same team, Kate Messner and Silas Neal. They brought you Over and Under the Pond. And of course we've read many other books by Kate Messner right here on Story Time. But today we're over and under the rainforest. So let's find out what life is in there, what life is found in there, what life calls this place home. Yes, indeed. Good morning to you and welcome to Story Time. Thank you so much for joining us today. I hope you're ready for this beautiful story and indeed some great lessons as well. Thank you so much. Good morning. Please let us know where you're joining us from and who indeed is joining in with you. Good morning to you. Thank you. Thank you. Get cozy, get comfortable. Over and under the rainforest we go. Good morning to you. Thank you so much. All right. Good morning to you, Madalena Iron, and of course Tudo out in San Francisco. Good morning to you. Absolutely. No, I love being here. Thank you so much. Appreciate you being here. You keep us going for sure. Together we'll get through anything. Good morning to you, Madalena Iron and Tudo. How are you today? Ellen Edwards in Chicago. Good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining in Story Time today. And of course, Lucy and Wally, good morning to you. And Braveman Gibbs, good morning. How are you doing today? Thank you for joining us on Story Time. Good morning to you, Jessica Fortino, and of course, Desmond out in Gilroy. Good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining in. Good to see you back. Thank you so much for joining in today, Desmond. I am doing well. Thank you so much. Yes, good morning to you. And Braveman one more time is saying I was volunteering yesterday. No, absolutely important work had to happen. Thank you so much for all that you've done during this period and for all that you keep doing. Absolutely much needed. Thank you, thank you. And of course to you, Lucy and Wally, of course, good morning. How are you doing today? Good to see you back. Over and Under the Rainforest we'll be reading today. And this one is by Kate Messner and illustrations by Silas Neal, and of course being read with permission of Chronicle Books of San Francisco. Good morning to you. Yes, good morning, good morning. And as we know, we need to play our part in helping make sure that the environment is taken care of. And of course, some of those habitats, some of those landforms that are being affected are our rainforests. And as you will see from this book today, there are many animals that live in those areas. And of course, these ecosystems, these areas are so important for life in general. And so we need to play our part to make sure that these places are safe, not just today, but safe so that our futures can be bright as well. Thank you so much for joining in. Let us go into our story today, which is Over and Under the Rainforest. But before then, somebody else has joined in. Good morning to you, Melia. How are you doing? I hope I got that correctly. Melia Smith, how are you in Oakland? And please let us know who joined in with you. Kirsten Saxton, how are you doing? Good to see you here. Thank you so much for joining in. Yes, and a big good morning to you, Nick, as well. Thank you, thank you. Kirsten, absolutely love having you here. Thank you so much for joining in. I hope you're ready for today's story. And to you, Harmony Beth, as well, as always, thank you so much for joining in Story Time. I hope you are ready for today's story. Let us go ahead and get started. All right, so our story today is called Over and Under the Rainforest. And it is written by Kate Messner and illustrations by Silas Neal. And we're reading this one with permission of Chronicle Books of San Francisco. Into the rainforest we hike, through slivers of sunlight and dripping wet leaves. Up in the trees, there's a symphony of sound, chatters and chirps and a howling roar. What's up there? I whisper. Up in the trees? Tito asks. Up in the trees is a whole hidden world, a riot of monkeys and insects and birds. We are hiking under them right now. Up in the trees, oropendalas gurgle in the low-swinging nests. Toucans croak and bicker over breakfast. Down in the forest, I follow Tito along the trail while agoutis search the ground for fallen fruit. On the footbridge we climb, up, up, up. Tito rests to catch his breath before we cross over the river below. Up in the trees, long-nosed bats slip away the daylight, all in a row. Down on the banks, sleepy crocodiles bask in the sun. As we cross, an emerald basilisk races up to the other side, barely skimming the river's surface. Tito and I laugh at his fast, funny legs and wish we could walk on water too. We scramble over roots and rocks, climbing higher into the trees. A poison dart frog makes his way up a trunk with a tadpole on his back. Our hanging bridge teeters and tips with every wobbly step. I keep a tight grip on the rail. We are eye to eye with capuchin monkeys. They hold on with their arms and legs and tails, swinging through the branches up here in the trees. My stomach grumbles, and Tito reaches into his pack. We snack on dried mangoes and pineapple, while the monkeys feast on wild almonds. Way down below, leaf-cutter ants march in a line, carrying bits of leaves and petals back to their nest. A long-snouted anteater snuffles along, sniffing for a meal of his own. The afternoon rain begins with a patter, a pitter soft drumming on the leaves up above. Soon it swells to a strong rushing pour, and all the world feels dripping and wet. A blue morpho butterfly folds up her wings and tucks away on a tree trunk. High in the branches, a soggy mother sloth and her baby sleep through the storm. Deep in the forest, the rain lets up. A parrot snake races over the trail, long and slender and green. She's hunting frogs, Tito says, as the snake's skinny tail disappears in the leaves. Up in the trees, an eyelash palm pit viper hunts too, curled around a branch, patient and silent and still. High in the canopy, a furry dark shadow clings to a branch. Tito lifts his hands to his mouth and sends a roar to the sky. The forest waits, quiet. Then, ruff, 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 comes the answer, a thunder of howler monkeys up in the trees. Their calls quiet down as the blue sky grows dark. Night falls fast in the forest. Our walk through the treetops is through. At the base of the bridge, an orb spider weaves her web, a golden tapestry that will catch moonlight and insects tonight. There is a sudden sharp snap, and I freeze in my tracks. A crack of a branch, a long loud rustle, then quiet again. Maybe it's a jaguar waking to hunt. Night is her time for growling and prowling through the shadows of the rainforest floor. Can you see the jaguar? I ran to catch up with Tito as we crossed the last bridge to home. Abuelita will have supper waiting. Arroz con pollo, chicken and spices with rice. The sky grows dark and the birds return to their nests. I spy a squirrel cuckoo, a woodpecker, a motmot flying home through the trees. Their songs fade away as a choir of insects and rain fills the dusk. A night song of darkness and water and life over us, under us, and all around us. The end. And of course, if you do have yourself a copy of this book or manage to get it from your library, you will find extra notes at the back talking about all the different animals that were mentioned in this book, and of course a special note from the author as well. But I hope you enjoyed that story today. That was Over and Under the Rainforest. Absolutely informative, and I hope you got to learn an animal or two that you can find in the rainforest. And of course, a big reminder for us to always be aware of these ecosystems, these landforms that we so much need. Every single one of them plays a part in ensuring that our planet stays safe for all of us. So thank you so much for joining in Storytime. Please find out where you can help and how you can help ensure that all the earth is taken care of. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime today. Absolutely loved it. And we'll be back again with another exciting story tomorrow. We're continuing on the nature theme. And tomorrow we'll be reading The Little Tree. And this one is by Monty Van and illustrated by Joanne Adinolfi. So do join us for that one tomorrow. But today, that has been Over and Under the Rainforest by Kate Messner and illustrated by Christopher Silas Neal, and of course read with permission of Chronicle Books of San Francisco. Good morning to you. Let us see who joined us today, and we can just say good morning to them. Good morning to you one more time. Kirsten, how are you doing today? Thank you for joining us. I hope you enjoyed that story. Good to see you here. Thank you so much. Harmony Beth, good morning to you one more time. Thank you so much. And Miliela, how are you doing? I hope I got that correctly. Milila, absolutely. All right, Milila, good morning to you with Malaika, and Marija, good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining in. Milila, good morning to you. Malachi and Marija, how are you doing today? My goodness, let me say those names one more time and correctly this time. Milila, how are you doing? Malachi and Marija, how are you doing? Thank you for joining in Storytime today. Thank you so much for joining us. You are very welcome to the Storytime community. Amanda West, good morning to you. And I missed you yesterday on a field trip for moms. Oh, awesome. I hope you enjoyed that. Absolutely. On a field trip for Mom's Amanda's birthday. Well, happy belated birthday, Amanda. Thank you so much. It is my birthday coming up this Friday. So yes, November babies. Good morning to you. How are you doing? Thank you. Well, good to know. Nathan and Sarah, thank you so much for joining us. As always, good to see you. Harmony Beth, you say such beautiful illustrations that encourage us to find solace in nature, especially during turbulent times. Absolutely. And if you do have these spaces around you too that you can go in for a walk, and of course safely, so following all the safety guidelines, please do find time to do that. It is good for our minds, it is good for our hearts, it is good for our souls. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime. And Harmony Beth, you're always bringing in the timely reminders. Much appreciated. Thank you so much. Maria Antonia, good morning to you. How are you doing? Davi, good morning. Oh, awesome. Well, and Braveman, Lucy and Wally. Oh, my goodness, that sounds so amazing. You said you were listening under a blanket fort. Absolutely. You had your rainforest canopy of your own. Thank you so much for sharing that. Shamarin, how are you doing today? Thank you for joining in. Zaire, good morning to you. How are you doing, sweetheart? Thank you so much for joining in story time today. Good morning, good morning. Oh, absolutely love it. Thank you. Well, Melila, have yourself a beautiful day as well. Malachi, to you too, have a beautiful day. And Marija, good morning to you. Thank you for joining in. I will get those names down. Next time you come in, it'll be flowing smoothly. Good morning to you. Thank you for joining in. Have a blessed day yourself. Thank you, thank you. And yes, happy birthday to fellow Scorpios. All right, Melila, Scorpio too. Good morning. Yes, a big happy birthday indeed to Anne Braveman there. Was it Anne's birthday? No, it was Amanda. I'm sorry. Amanda's birthday that was yesterday. Thank you so much for joining in. All right, Dorothy Koo, good morning to you. How are you doing? Thank you for joining in Story Time. Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Melila, absolutely appreciate it. And to everybody that joined in Story Time, together we'll power through. And of course, as we await on the election, please do bear in mind that let's follow the process. Let's wait on the process and see what happens. And of course, life will still go on and we will be just fine together. Thank you so much for joining in Story Time today, and we are back tomorrow. The Little Tree together right here, 10:30 Pacific time. Do join us, and of course I will see you in the morning. Much love from me as always. Please do stay safe, hug your loved ones, and keep them closer, especially at this time. Thank you for joining in Story Time. Always a pleasure to be here. I will see you in the morning for another great story, another great time together. Much love, hugs and kisses from Mr. Limada. I will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.